Your hot take: Ole Miss loses to Tulane but upsets UGA or Bama. Chris, what do you think about that, bud?
This is week 2, right? College football season. I think it's super quick in the season here.
Yeah.
Non-con game. 14.5 point underdogs, Tulane in this game. I just checked today, actually. I was just looking. I've been putting some bets out there. I don't want to say super early because the season's around the corner, but if you're a college football fan, you want it to start tomorrow. Could this happen? I personally don't see it that way, but man, I watch a lot of shit. I listen to a lot of shit. I'm like a sponge. A lot of people thinking that. I mean, there's some popular YouTubers out there, Christian, that think that Tulane is going to win this game super early. The only reason why I just can't buy it, everybody's going to tell me on the other opposite end of the spectrum, well, Tulane beat USC and Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner last year, in a bowl game. Okay, all right. USC can't play any goddamn defense, though. And I'm not saying Tulane isn't going to put up points. They got Pratt back again. They got a lot of pieces back. Their coach has been there for a while. Tulane's going to be a very good team this season. If you guys haven't noticed, you probably can't see them in the background. I got Tulane like preseason sitting like number 19th up there. I got their helmet even. That's an ultra rare helmet. Hard to kind of find, by the way. The Green Wave, baby. But here's my thing. I don't think it happens. I actually believe in Ole Miss. I actually believe in Lane Kiffin this year. Lane Kiffin hasn't necessarily proven it yet at Ole Miss, but I think Ole Miss is going to be tough this year. I have them pinned at 8-4 at the end of the season. I do not have them losing to Tulane, Christian. I think this game is close. It is at Tulane. I don't know how hard it is to play at Tulane, though. Christian, maybe you can riddle me that one. But it's going to be a good game. It's going to be hyped up. They're both going to be 1-0 coming into that game. I just don't know if Tulane, at the end of the day, can handle the physicality of an SEC school like Ole Miss, who's very, very physical, who's got, Junkins back there as a running back, who to me is probably the best running back in the SEC. Personally, he did it last year as a freshman. You know this, Christian.
Yeah.
I find that hard to believe. And at the end of the day, but upsets of Georgia or Bama, those games are later in the season. I think Ole Miss is going to be better. I have them up there in my rankings too. I think that they're going to compete with both those teams, but be able to beat them, they'd have a better chance. And I'm going to piss off the Bama man here. I think they'd have a better chance of beating Bama than they would Georgia. But this game is so super early. I just don't see how it happens with the physicality of an SEC school. I hate to stand up for an SEC man, but here I am. Christian, take it away.
Yeah, man, Chris, here's, like you said, I mean, they're going to play Tulane week 2, so it's early in the season, and it's at Tulane, right? So that's kind of a weird thing there. Tulane finished last year 12-2, and had wins against Kansas State, UCF, Cincinnati, and USC to end the year. So they can definitely play spoiler, right, to some of these teams. They've got a bunch of contributors coming back, a bunch of production, all right, from last year, including Michael Pratt and 4 starting offensive linemen. So that's good, right? They're going to be able to probably put some points up in this game, right? Ole Miss is going to have a new defensive coordinator, right, and a new defense for the most part. So they're going to be trying to get everything figured out the first couple of weeks, right? They play Mercer to start the year off. That's probably, I like Mercer. It's a Georgia school, but I don't think that's really going to tell me that much that I need to know early in the season, right? So this Tulane game is going to kind of tell me where is Ole Miss at. You talked about something very similar to this, I think, last week, and we talk about this, it seems like on a weekly basis here. Weird shit happens early in the season, Chris.
Oh, God,
right?
Man.
And this, to me, has a potential to be a trap game for Ole Miss, right? But that being said, a loss in this game could also help Ole Miss come together, right? It's kind of like LSU last year, right? They lost to Florida State early on in the season. That was kind of like one of those games that, that LSU team that lost to Florida State early last year wasn't the same one that finished the year off, right? So,
yeah.
To me, they can come together and play some more inspired football. I can see them pulling an upset against Bama or Georgia, definitely, right? Lastly, I would say the same way I'm giving Tulane a chance to upset Ole Miss, right, in that week 2 game, right? I think, again, teams can be hot or cold given any day, right? We've already touched on Alabama's offense. We know they're going to probably be really streaky this year. It would not surprise me, right? Would not surprise me if Bama came in at Ole Miss and had probably a really down game against them, and Ole Miss came away with a win, right? Lane Kiffin needs that, I think, this year to do that, right? And finally, when we talk about Georgia, right? We don't really know. We know Georgia's probably going to be really good on defense again this year. We've got some offensive pieces coming back, but the critical part is Carson Beck. Haven't really seen him as a full-time starter this year, so I kind of say not to the same degree about Bama, but, this kid, how's he going to do against a team from the West coming in, right? It's not a school that you play all that often. Weird things can happen when you start playing like out-of-division games, and I really think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. This to me, as far as a hot take's concerned, not that hot of a take. I could see something like this happening because every year it happens in college football.